All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. I'm Dylan Altman. Alongside me, as always, is Mila and Grant. I am unfortunately out of the country, so this is episode 6 for us before episode 4. So we're just gonna go through some lists and kind of see how it goes. I should be getting closer to United Spurs at this point, so hopefully that's a good game, and I don't want to cry when I'm there. But for now, let's jump into our top 10 Premier League fullbacks. I'll chuck it over to Grant to start at number 10.
Um, Started off with Luke Shaw at 10. I think it's pretty well known, and he's also kind of here because I also have some other chronically injured fullbacks in some marquee rankings later on. I think Shaw's quality just doesn't play enough. Yeah, I got him at 10. Mila.
You wanted Dylan points with that pick.
Oh, you are not going to
Um,
like my list.
I took Leaf Davis at 10,
Oh,
and
nice.
mainly because I have a soft spot for him because I stole him and took him to Lincoln City in an FM save, and he was my best player for like 2 years. But also he did have a pretty nice assist to Delap's beautiful goal today. And I think he's pretty good. So he's a new face in the Premier League, but I think he'll be one of the top ones at the end of the year.
I wasn't expecting that at 10.
No, that's fine.
He is a good fullback, though. He's got potential, that's for sure.
There's not a lot to choose from, honestly, either. Let's be honest.
I've got 10 other people I chose,
Yeah,
but
but I'm sure I'm gonna
there's some people in
disapprove of a
mind that
couple.
probably don't deserve to be there.
Games
At
again.
10 I had to put in an Arsenal player because they do have the best defense in the league.
No,
So I put in the spray tan orange man Ben White.
that's
And okay, my reasoning is like I had to put someone in here and I couldn't figure out anyone else. I don't actually think he's that great going forward. He's just a product of their system. And I didn't want to put Zinchenko in or
yeah.
Timber or
Dylan,
that
I just want
or a
to I want to
man.
thank you for doing that because I'll be honest, I did have him a little higher, but because you put him 10th, I'm putting him ninth. Ben White. There we
There we
go.
go.
Thank you.
Moving him back spots. Okay. I'm happy
So,
that we're all in
yeah,
agreement here that he's not actually that good and
yeah,
he just has aura around him.
and I
He's
think he's
not in my
good.
top 10.
Yeah, and essentially the way I feel about him, I'll give him 9. Like to be fair to him, he came in as a center back for 50 million, was seen as a bit of a flop, and then goes to right back. It's like, oh, he got pushed out. He's not good. He's been good, and what we've seen is a good defense. But kind of going to, I know we had some issues with my list at center back, but Arsenal is just such a defensive side that they have 4 center backs, 2 sitting midfielders. Like, of course, they're going to have a good defense. They have great structure. But yeah, so I got Ben White at 9. I still think he's adding to his game. I think he's a quality Premier League right back, but like you said, I just think there's better in terms of just talent. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you now for 9, Mila.
I have Livermento. He
Hard.
just got his England call up over his teammate Trippier. He's good going forward, good defending. So I don't, I don't know. I don't know what that was from Grant. But yeah, that's why I have Livermento at 9.
That's a
Yes.
fair shot. I kind of forgot that he was there. I forgot he got the move and he's at
There's a lot
Newcastle.
of there's a lot of people I'm
Uh,
sure we'll forget about.
that's fair. At 9 I
Yeah.
have Rico Lewis. I think between
Whoa.
two games of him playing, or no, it's 3. I've just seen a complete footballer, right? And he's really a special talent, especially at his size. I know he's kind of playing this like when Mila sent me a video. It's it's essentially like an 8 as a right back. It's truly impressive. His technical skill and his ability to also defend, especially at his size, is it's impressive. So I have him at 9, and that's just because he's so young and I haven't seen a full season sample size. But I'm willing to put him in my top 10.
Yeah. He's also on my list. I'm sure Mila's got him.
Of course I have him on my
Yeah,
list.
8. I've got Jedi at 8. Um, yeah, I mean, City Link alone is valid enough for me. But I mean, we watch him play. I was very not critical but skeptical, I'd say. Like maybe last year, 2 years ago, watching him. But the more you watch it, you could tell he's quality. And again, just in terms of the player, I think if he were to go to a bigger team, that has the ball a bit more and can really pinch teams into the opposition's final third, I think he'd be able to really show it. So yeah, I got him at 8.
I also have him at 8, but in terms of him getting a move, I think it's running a little bit out of time on that.
Not
So
sure.
it
Yeah.
looks like he might be stuck at Fulham for the majority of his career.
Yeah, Tim Ream had a good career though. You know what I mean? Fulham's great.
Yeah.
Go for it,
Yeah,
King.
it's unfortunate because, like, for club and country, he's really a really, really good talent. It just sucks that he hasn't gotten that move because I don't think there's a single, top, 6 team outside of Arsenal and City where you can make the argument that, like, he couldn't be used. Maybe Liverpool too, but, like, he's up there in terms of best left back in the Prem. I don't have him
It's
at
probably
8.
just partially like a price for it too, though.
As an
So,
American, you think he'd be outpriced?
um, more so just like what he offers to Fulham and like
Oh,
what they would expect
they'd
for
be
his
looking to get like
services.
50
Yeah,
for him.
yeah, something around that. Okay,
Yeah.
but you were gonna say you're 8.
Oh yeah, I don't have him at 8. I am wearing the jersey, but I don't have him at 8. I have Diego Dallo at 8.
Mm-hmm.
More of a utility fullback. I think his ability to show that he can do it on both sides of the pitch has been super impressive, and he went from being that same kind of Ben White mold of like this guy's not it to being essentially United's most important player, second most important player outside of Bruno. I think he does. He goes forward really well. He can hold possession really well. I think that he's missing the technical speed to be in like the top 5 of my fullbacks, but he's still a very good talent to where he deserves to be on this list. And I think his versatility allows him to be at 8 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have him in mind. I
I
had
had him
him
at
at
7.
10 until
Oh,
I threw in Leaf Davis. So he's technically at my 11, but
That's fair.
I hear everything you're saying, and I do think
yeah.
he's one of the better fullbacks.
Yeah. For that reason, I have him at 7. Like you said, I think he's become invaluable whether he's playing right back, left back. Like he does a job for you guys. He has games where he has his deficiencies defensively, but again, I think he adds. Especially there's those games where just United can't create anything; they're just passing the ball around side to side. He'll try and make something happen. So, yeah, I like watching it. I like his game, so I got him at 7.
Nice. I have Digne at 7. Um, I think he's one of the better defensive fullbacks in this crappy list that we have, in the defensive qualities at least. And then going forward, he lacks because a little bit because he's old, but I do think he's still decent and he does the job for Villa. And that's also why Matson's holding bench right now. So I
I was
think
gonna
it's a little
say, how
hard to
high
take
do you
him
have
out.
Matson then?
Yeah.
I don't have Matson
Wow.
until
I
he
thought
Okay.
you.
starts.
I thought okay, because I thought you liked Matson more than Digne too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
do.
more of
I
just
think
he
he's I
hasn't
think he
played.
fits more in the team for them, but in terms of like just best right now, I can't say Matson's in there because
Sure.
he hasn't
He's not
really
playing.
paid. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think he's even played a full game yet.
All right. Yeah.
No.
True.
Like combined minutes, he hasn't. I don't think he has
Oh,
90.
shame.
Yeah,
So
he
yeah,
doesn't.
I had to leave him off for that reason and put Digne
Well,
Do
at
not have
7.
Digne.
that's 7. No, I don't have him either.
Yeah.
These lists are already very funky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It's gonna get worse.
it is so gonna get worse. That's at 7. I have Kyle Walker.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
okay,
don't have
so
him.
we're doing this based off of the fact that we all think he's washed, and I just gave him 7 because I think if there's a principle here, because he's been the best right back over the last couple seasons, and I know that dip is coming, and I put Rico behind him for this reason of just like that there's a stepping stone to things, and I need
Principle.
to move him up. Yeah,
Principle.
there's got to be like
Sure.
a pedigree thing, and I still think that if Walker on his day can be the best right back in the Prem. So I'll give him 7 just for his pace and his contributions to City's title
Sure.
winning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I left him off personally just because I saw what Raheem Sterling did to him twice last year. I was like, oh my
Dude,
God. Like,
fuck me.
he made Sterling look good, like dangerous
It's the
last year.
same
So,
mistake with him,
yeah.
like every
So,
time, and it's really frustrating, which
once
is
Mila,
why
because
he
when Mila
didn't
first was
make it near
complaining about
my.
Kyle Walker to us, I was like, nah, Brady doing too much. Yeah, no, I get it. He's off my list. So, yeah, I don't have Kyle Walker, but I get it. The principle of like, he has been good for so long. You have to give him that respect, sure. But I also thought
He's
he was a
one of
bit
the best
stinky.
fullbacks of,
Yeah, I
or
thought he
like
was
outside
stinky at the
backs in
Euros.
league
Yeah.
history.
So,
And
No
the other
lie.
thing
yeah,
is like if you could offer me Kyle Walker to be in my squad right now, I wouldn't say no.
I would.
Would
I don't
you
want
though?
him. I don't want him teaching our players to have two
Oh,
families
that's
and
different.
all that crazy stuff, man. No, bro. We'll get to our list. I think we have two right backs that are better than him. Like, I'm not even thinking twice. And I get the leadership, but I'm talking as a player. No.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So then, did everyone do 7?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go
I'm
at
at
Yeah.
six.
six.
Okay.
I've got Pedro Porro at 6. I'll be honest. I really don't want to like him. Like, came from City, now he's at Spurs. It's like, okay, but he's very good. Obviously, defensive deficiencies. I mean, I think part of it's the player for sure. I think it's really hard to judge defenders in Ange's system. So I give him some benefit of the doubt, but again, he can definitely improve defensively. But I mean, just as like ball striking alone, ability to put in a cross, just get forward, whether it's the overlap or the way Ange likes those fullbacks kind of tucked in a bit. So yeah, I think Poro's quality. I got him at 6.
I think that you bring up a fair point when it comes to all Spurs defenders, and that's why I don't have him on my list is because I don't know really how to judge him. He's a right winger,
Sure.
like almost right mid to me, to where
Yeah.
I can't really tell what he does from a defensive action. Like I don't see enough of him defending to put him like on
Sure.
this list. And there's
And
other
I
guys that are
wanted,
on this list where I'm like I'd much rather have him.
yeah, and I wanted to throw Udoji in there. I like him a lot too,
Mm-hmm.
but defensively he gets torched from what I've seen.
Nowhere near
It's
Oh,
different.
top.
It's different. I think Poro. I think he has the potential, Udogi, but yeah, no. If I had to pick between one of the Spurs guys, it's definitely Poro for me.
fair.
Yeah. I have Gusto at 6. Um, I think he's
Oh
really
yeah.
good. Probably one of Chelsea's better players in my opinion, but he does hold bench every time Reece comes back, which is not often, but he will hold it. So I couldn't put him higher than 5, so I have him at 6.
Sure. We'll get to
I
that later.
I don't have him in my list for that reason. We made this list saying that it's
Oh,
fully healthy, and I know that he sees bench um when Reece James is fully healthy, and for that reason, I couldn't keep
But
him in
he
my top
wouldn't on
10.
most other
right,
teams.
right.
No, but this
Yeah,
is the
Yeah,
same reason
yeah.
why I
I
chose
think he'll play
Dallo
left
instead
back
of
too
Mazraoui.
if Reese is back.
that's
Sure.
fair.
Well,
Like it
Mazraoui's
was,
played like 2 games in the Prem.
but he's been better than any right back that I've seen on United in a number of years through 2 games. The
Yeah,
same
that's
reason
fair.
I
That's
put
fair.
Rico
That's fair.
Lewis up.
Okay.
It,
Yeah,
it's
no,
it's more of
yeah.
just like I just know that he's not going to start over Reece James when he's there, and
Yeah,
so I only chose my list. I tried to only choose one defender from each team because in my
I
opinion,
did
like
not.
there's a discrepancy for most teams, except for there's
Yeah,
like City and Liverpool are my only exceptions. But
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
I was gonna put I was gonna put Cucurella at 10. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Um, I just think the player, and I'll talk more about Gusto when I get to him on my list about because he's there. I just think the quality of player. I just look at this player like he's good, and mind you, like you said, he holds bench when Reese is there. Like Reese is generational to me. Like the talent, like he has everything. He just can't
I
stay fit.
think Reece is just a way better defender than
Yeah,
Gusto.
yeah. And
yeah.
That's
Gusto
the
has
main
like
thing.
he
Yeah,
hasn't had a
but
great start
Gusto
this
going
year.
forward is great.
Gusto hasn't had a great start this year, especially defensively. I will say last year he did have his games defensively. He was very strong. He was sound, but he just has quick lapses in judgment, which is what you would expect for a 20, 21 year old. But yeah, he's quality. We'll keep
No,
moving
he's
with the
super
list.
talented.
Yeah,
Yeah, 6. I actually have the reason I put this jersey on. I have Anthony Robinson there. I think when
nice.
you're looking at left backs, and I let you guys kind of just push it into your. How many left backs in the Premier League are you picking over Anthony Robinson right now today?
Um, I
It's
have
probably a couple of guys in
I
it.
have
Like
one. I have
you have
one.
one, I
I
have
have
two.
one. Oh, I have two. Sorry, I have DJ
I have
also.
two.
Forgot about that.
So I'm saying the third. Well, I technically in my list I have three, but it's because of health reasons. So I have two that are healthy above him. And so, in my opinion, if I'm talking about a Fulham left back being as
Right.
elite as he is as left back, that's why he's so high on my list because I think that
Mhm.
he gets into every other team except for Arsenal and City right now, and maybe Liverpool, and that makes him more valuable than any of the right backs that we've listed.
Sure.
And also, I just think that he's a class player. I'd love to see him on a bigger team just to see what offensive skill he could provide for those teams because he's doing it at Fulham. So could he do it at a United? Could he do it at a Chelsea? Like, could you imagine Chelsea having Anthony Robinson? Like, that's a really good signing. It's just
I honestly couldn't.
It wouldn't. No, it
No,
wouldn't fit the
interesting.
system, bro. It wouldn't fit the system.
They
he
haven't
Our
he
left
could
had
back
play
someone
with
plays
that
center back.
Fullbacks
talented
playing.
there in a
Our left
while.
back plays center back. And you're taking away his best traits if you put him in that system. You know what I mean?
But
Because
he's good
he
at
can't go forward.
but he's good at defending back post. He's done it. That's exactly what he's done at Fulham. Is
But
defend.
he can't go forward. I feel like that's such a valuable part of his game that you just be taken away from
It's
him.
ball playing. Right? So then you just essentially
sure.
take him into the Cucurella role. And I
Hmm.
if you gave him Cucurella's role, I feel like he could do a better job. Maybe that's
Sure. It's just so unfeasible because of how much we spent on Cucurella. And again, he's been good lately.
right.
He's earned that spot in Vega. I really like first Portugal call up, so he's a player. He should get in this list next year. Well, yeah, Anthony's class.
Fair.
Next year?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Jump into five.
I got Rico Lewis. I mean, last year you correct me if I'm wrong, Mila. I feel like he played more of like that inside 10 role than right back last year. Yeah, like he played that a lot.
He was the
He
utility
inverted.
piece
Right,
last year.
right.
Like, wherever we
Yeah,
really needed him to be, he would
yeah.
go.
And every
And I
time I
think
watch
Pep was
City,
still trying to figure out like what position works best for him.
yeah, and I think a big thing I saw it on Twitter earlier. City have created a lot more chances than I recall last year, and I think a big part of that is instead of Kyle Walker looking a few different ways and going back to Ruben Diaz, you have Rico
Walker
Lewis
playing
there.
right winger. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So no 40-yard Thunder Bastards from Walker either. You got Rico Lewis who when maybe one day he gets one. But yeah, I think Rico Lewis, like obviously we haven't seen too much of him, but first England call up's also huge. He's gotten minutes over the past 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I feel like I'm comfortable putting him top five. Just in terms of talent, quality, what he's capable of.
Okay.
Mila.
I'll take it. I have Horo at 5. I'm not going to really go into it. I think Grant did a pretty good summary of why he should be high in the list. I'm just not going to put him over the other four. I think they're either way better going forward or just there's a huge gap defensively between my other guys and him.
Fair. 5, I'm gonna break into our kind of like our pedigree of fullback. I feel like for most of us, I'm assuming we all have similar top fives ish, but mine's Robo at 5. I think outside of left
I left
backs.
them all.
I also
What?
left him off.
You? Oh no!
I think he's
Guys,
cooked, bro. I think he's
Look at
guys.
him.
Guys.
Grant and I locked eyes in the,
No.
in the camera.
No.
Yeah, I think he's cooked. I think he's cooked. Yeah. Yeah, bro, he's cooked. Bro, they're playing him as like a center back tucking in just so Trent can free roam and do what he wants to do, which is valid. Trent's like that. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like he's kind of cooked.
You think he's worse than Cucurella? He's not on your list?
Whoa.
Oh, Cucurella's not on my list either.
But you said you were going to put him 10.
I was, yeah, because I'm a fan of Chelsea. Of course I could try to sneak him in, but I didn't do it with using my better judgment.
He wasn't healthy
I don't
last
have either of them.
Okay, outside of his health from last season, he's been a top 2 or 3 fullback in like the world.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I just, from what I've seen, and I'll let Mila talk on this as well, because you also left him off. I just feel like he doesn't get all the way forward. Like he'll still bomb forward and just throw a cross in like for fun, but he doesn't really get back as much to get caught out. And part of that can be down to the system for sure. I just don't think he has the same legs he had. And the game is evolving very quickly at fullback, like you could see with the Rico Lewis's, the Trents of the world even. And I just think he's slowly it's his time. Like, it's not going to be ugly in terms of a fall off, if you will. Like, I still think he's good, definitely capable of starting. But yeah, I don't have him on top 10. Mila, you got anything? Dylan, response.
Honestly, I just don't like him. And then, like with Dylan and I were talking right before the video, like who would you take in a team? And I'm kind of basing it off that. I don't want him in my team, so he didn't make my top 10.
I guess like for
And
me,
there's a lot of good players that didn't make the list, so I feel like he's just going to be one of them. I told you guys before that I feel bad for some of them.
well, well,
But
fuck!
game
I
is
made this
game.
whole statement about I thought that our top fives were gonna be super similar, and then at
So they
five, I'm
fucking aren't.
fucking wrong.
That's why it's so funny, bro.
Let me back him a little bit. I think that the unhealthy season has changed the perspective on him as a player, and I think that under a new manager taking a little more of a reserved role, he's essentially just going to become like a better defensive version of what he was before. And so I just see he's a good player. He plays with heart. He's Scotland's pretty much number one outside of Scott, of course. And I just think that he's a class player. He's just kind of a dickhead. That's his only thing. I don't really like him as like a person, but I like him as a player, and I think he makes Liverpool's system functional, especially with Trent. So that's why I had him at 5. Someone else say they're 4, because now I'm super confused.
I got Gusto there. I got Gusto at 4. I think he is absurdly good. I think even I saw it in preseason, Reese at right back, Gusto at left back. Like, Gusto's that good. He's played himself into the team, and we'll see with Reese. I hope he stays healthy long enough for this to become an issue. But I think even the year before, where he was hurt before we had Gusto, we're seeing Aspilicueta right wing back shifts, and like, I love Aspilicueta. That was so hard to watch, man. So like, having like a young, fresh, and he had 9 assists last year. Like, he's got a good final ball, not to the level of Reese, but I mean, to me, one of the best right backs in the world, who's missing 70% of the games, let's say, to be able to have this kid just come in and do a job, like, invaluable, I think, is one of the best pieces of business under the new ownership. And if Reese is able to stay fit and get back on his feet consistently, I could absolutely see a Real Madrid or a Barca, if they ever have money, coming in for Gusto.
Just to follow up on that, so do you think when Reese, or if Reese gets healthy, that Gusto
Yeah,
just
for
moves to
sure.
left back and they push
I wouldn't
Cucurella
be
out?
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think there's so many games, and you're seeing it with the extended group stage. Obviously, we're in the Conference League, still 6 games. But I just think there's going to be so many games. We typically go deep in cup runs. I think I mentioned that before. There's going to be enough games to where, okay, Reese is going to tuck in and play next to the center backs. Gusto, go hold width on the left, or you go invert. I don't think Gusto is going to tuck in as a center back. We did that in preseason. It was a tough watch. Um, but
But
I think he's
in a
good enough
Premier
to
League
where he can
game,
go play
do you
left back.
think that
Absolutely.
happens?
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely. He played left back last year
okay.
without Reese
I was
being
just
fit. We
curious
had,
if
yeah.
Cucurella
No, yeah.
is droppable at that point, like just because that's
I
his
think,
primary.
I think, I think Bar Palmer, everyone's droppable in the team.
Kukurea is definitely a droppable player.
I think everyone except Palmer's droppable any given week. We got to see
Okay.
it from everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Let me
My
look
turn.
4. Yeah.
At 4, I have Gavardiol. Monster. Super strong, super fast, and he can attack. The end of last season, I think, was just like a little taste of what he'll be able to do. It's still fairly new of a position for him, or the role at least. Um, this new system probably will help for him. He's kind of overlapping De Bruyne, it seems, with the left wing tucking in. So those overlapping runs over De Bruyne, I think, will probably get him into better positions, just because a lot of the focus will be on KDB. Um, so yeah, that's who I have it for.
Yeah, I have him there too. Think that the only thing that I'll add to yours, because I thought you summed it up was pretty well, is he has a mistake in him, and that's why he wasn't like top 2 for me. And also, he's a center
I
back
think
playing left back, and that's
Yeah, but I think that's where those mistakes come in. He's a center back playing left back,
yeah,
and it's fairly fresh. So
yeah. For us to be putting
I
him
see what you're
in the
saying.
top
Yeah,
5
it's
is pretty
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah,
what we'll say is he was worth the money, right?
Yeah, definitely.
um,
Without a doubt.
yeah, so I don't really have much more to add there. He's my four as
Yeah,
well.
I got him at 3. So yeah,
Okay.
I think yeah, even to start when he first came in, it was kind of like, does he do anything? Is he good? Is he not? He had a mistake against us. I remember that was one of my first like,
Thunder
oh
bastards.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean I think it was kind of his coordination towards the end of the year. It's like, hey, I'm figuring out the left back thing. Like, kind of attack now. So yeah, him being able to add something in the final third is gonna be huge for me. Yeah, defensively, his recovery pace, ability on the ball. Yeah, I got him at 3.
Nice. I have Trent at 3. Um, like you guys talked about him a bit before, but he kind of gets to do what he wants, and he's scary going forward. You don't say that a lot with fullbacks, but when he looks like he's gonna get one of his passes off, you probably are hoping that someone jumps in the way of it so that it doesn't end up where it's gonna go. The two people I have above him, I think, are just more important to their teams when they're in their teams. And also, I think Trent is like a chair out there on the field defensively. So I can't put him higher than 3.
It's fair. Those are fair. Those are solid points for
Yeah.
not including him higher. Uh, at 3, I have Luke Shaw for the reasoning of what Mila was just saying of importance to the team. I think importance to like the other players around him. Versatility wise, he's played center back, and then also I think we've seen the best out of Rashford when Shaw is playing there, and he's an important piece to the Ten Hag system. And there's a reason they didn't go get a left back in the summer, is because they truly believe that he can be their number one. And I'm running out of time to believe that because of the injuries, but based off pure
Mm-hmm.
talent alone, when he's healthy, he's almost undroppable for club and country, and so that's why I have him at 3.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. Number 2,
Mm-hmm.
I have Saka. No, I
He
have
is
Trent.
really good there.
No, he's a very good player. Just period. No, I have Trent at 2. I think just to kind of piggyback on what Mila said, he is a bit of a cone defensively. Like he's just bad. There's not really much way any other way to put it. But offensively, he's just so gifted. He could do anything. So yeah, if he has that ability and freedom in the system, I mean, he could play a pass from anywhere. So yeah, I mean, he's otherworldly on the ball. So just that alone, you have to put him up there. Yeah. So
For my two, I got Reese. Basically the same thing that Dylan just said about Shaw. The only reason I don't have Shaw on my list is because he had a way crazier injury, and he's a little bit older. So, but in terms of impact for the team, I do agree that they probably have around the same impact. And then I have someone else at 1, so Reese is gonna hold 2.
I also have Reese too. Barring injuries, he's the best fullback in the world. But because
Best,
he's,
yeah.
I think he's the best fullback in the world when he's healthy.
yeah,
I just only get to see him play 5 times a year.
yeah.
So,
hmm
and I think the injuries have kind of taken away from the parts of his game that are ultimately going to make him the best fullback in the world, which is he was able to be the best defensive right back on the planet while also being like a top 5 offensive right back on the planet. So it's just like a tough mix because he's got everything that you want. He's their captain. He really is Chelsea, and we just don't get to see him play. And so that's why he's at 2 for me. But hey, we get a healthy season of Reese here, and maybe that he
Oh,
gets back up to 1.
man,
So
yeah.
I'm
I mean,
assuming that's gonna segue into your number 1,
yeah,
huh?
a little bit, a little bit. Yeah, I got him at 1. I think you guys said the same sentiment. We haven't really seen a good amount of games from him since what 21, 22. But I mean that year he was shutting people down in the Champions League. You know, Vinny was having issues with him. Obviously, Vinny's top player. But and then ability going forward too, just rockets, bro, just scoring goals. His ball first time cross just on the money. He's getting Lukaku goals. You know what I mean? Like everything you can ask for in a fullback, going up and down the flanks, defending, playing a pass, scoring goals, literally everything. And I think to what you said, just the deterioration of the hamstrings, like those muscle injuries, like that's a big blow for a guy who likes to go up and down the flanks. I think I don't know what we're gonna do. I think system wise, I'm intrigued. He inverted a bit during preseason. He's played in the midfield when he was on loan at Wigan. I think that's the best evolution. Either that or him tucking into the back three. I mean, just playing right center back. He can still play diagonals from that spot. He can still get forward selectively while not really just putting the wear and tear on his legs. So I think that might be the way to preserve his health. But yeah, I just think he's unbelievable. Shame. Shame,
A
man.
I can't
waffle
believe you're
about
going here.
injuries and barely talked about how he was the best fullback.
Yeah,
I
man.
can't believe
I
Mila's
mean-
about to go here. You
I
know
mean,
where
you
Mila's
guys-
going with this, right?
I mean,
You know where Mila
honestly,
is going with this, right?
I don't, bro. I'm just locked in. I was so locked in.
No.
I'm not
Think
gonna talk
about
about
Mila's
injuries.
list. Think about Mila's list and think about where Mila is going with this.
I was honestly just thinking about this whole spiel the past like 5 minutes. I
I'll
don't
let
even know
me.
what Bob's
I'll
list.
let Mila say it at this point.
I have
didn't-
Rico Lewis at number one.
Right? Yeah, I didn't realize you didn't put him there. That's crazy.
Um,
I respect
dude,
it, bro.
we've
I
talked about him
respect it.
every episode.
He's
Every
class, man.
episode.
Number
Yeah,
one's
he's-
crazy, but you know it's crazy. But talent wise, I mean, it's a shout. It's a fucking shout.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Some of these guys can't defend. As one of the guys that is putting up GNA at
Mhm.
the outside back position, he does have the most possession won in the Premier League. And he's bombing the fuck up in between the striker and the right wing. So he's going up there. That means he's getting his ass all the way back to make these defensive plays. And he's doing it a higher percentage than anyone else in the Premier League right now. And he's 19.
3 games. But yes, he's great. I think he's sick. But that's why I don't have him. I'm sure you know why we
Kyle
don't
Walker
have him.
is that was our captain last year. Kyle
Oh,
Walker,
I made
Dylan,
fun of
like
it every
just talked
time.
about how I understand that. I didn't
Ours is
think
worse.
he'd take the starting spot from Walker though this year. That was
I think it's
hopeful.
a bit of he had a long summer, but
Yeah.
having said that, it's gonna be tough for Walker to get back in the team if
I don't
Rico's
think
playing
Walker's
like this.
making it back in the team.
No, yeah,
unless we
it's
play
gonna be
like a
very
Vinny
difficult.
or someone that he needs to be up against. But I still think if Rico's playing day in, day out, then Pep's going to give him that chance to do it. And he's probably going to get it done. I haven't seen him get exposed yet in most of the games that we've played.
No, he's a special talent. I would just love to see him get a run of games more than what we've seen.
No, I get that.
That's the only reason I can't have him higher, because talent wise, he's probably up there at number 1. But yeah, I
respect it, Mila.
I understand the sentiment behind it. And I also respect both of you for putting your own club's fullbacks at number 1. That's true love.
And you, well, no. You said I didn't mention the injuries. I feel like it's all that's talked about with him. You know what I mean? So there's not really much more to speak on. I just think people aren't really talking about a sustainability plan, right? Because he just keeps getting hurt.
I knew you were going to mention the injuries. It was just that you went, Reece James is my number 1. Here's how we keep him fit. Not why he's number 1.
It's not about what happened. It's
point.
about how we move forward. It's about how we move forward.
Okay.
Please skip it. Yeah.
You're not going to like my number 1. I have Trent.
I knew it.
It's fair. Sure.
You guys said everything that needs to be said about Trent. I think that his defensive stuff gets a little overplayed in terms of like he gets beat over the top a ton. Statistically, he is not a bad one-on-one defender. It's all the awareness stuff, and that comes with just him being out of position a ton because that's what they ask him to do. True. There is a little bit of like he gets negatively hit on defense a little harder than he should because he's asked to do too much.
Yes. Would you say he's above average, or below average defensively though, regardless of just like you're saying?
I think that he is
getting dragged out of plays.
I think he is an average to just above average defender. I think that to be in his position with his stats like one-on-one, he's not a bad defender. To say he's a bad defender is a mistake on him. That's just how good offensively he is. Like his offense is a 15 and his defense is a 7, if that makes sense. And so the gap looks so much wider. He's one of the only like fullbacks in the world where you have to plan against a fullback. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
You know what my coach last year did to plan against that? He put Ben Chilwell at left wing. So yeah.
I
Respect.
don't know if that's there are fullbacks that you're gonna plan against. It's just planning differently because you're not planning for most fullbacks to be their attacking threat. You're
Yeah, that's
planning
what I'm
like,
saying.
oh my
He's
God, this fullback's gonna lock up my winger. I'm gonna put my winger on the other side of the field, so
Yeah.
he's not going up against this fullback.
And Reese did that both.
yeah.
Which
Reese
is
did it both
usually the
ways.
main thing. Like, which is what I
Yeah.
want more. If
Yeah.
Vinny's gonna come to my stadium, I don't want Trent anywhere near him. I want
Yeah.
him on the opposite side of the pitch.
No, that's totally fair. I just
Like,
think that
yeah.
I think that there's like only a handful of like fullbacks in the world where every team is like, yeah, I'll take that.
Hmm.
And I think Trent's one of those players, and that's why he's one for me.
Yeah.
Because
He's
I
probably
like
going
outside of
Madrid.
like I even the two guys below him I had they don't go everywhere in the world just because of injuries. Gvardiol's probably the next one, who's like every team is like, yeah, I'll take that. The rest of my list, like I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Hmm. All
Yeah.
right.
Trent's
This was a
generational. Yeah.
mucked list of
That was a
just
great time.
it was I
That
Grant,
was
was
fun.
do a little rundown of yours.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. Let me get that pulled up. So number 10, I put Luke Shaw. Number 9, Ben White. 8, I put Jedi Robinson. 7, Dallo. 6, Poro. 5, Rico Lewis. 4, Malo Gusto. 3, Vardiol. 2, Trent, and then Reese at number 1.
Mila.
Okay. I got Leaf Davis at 10. I have Tino Livramento at 9. Anthony Robinson at 8. Digne at 7. Gusto at 6. Hydroporo at 5. Ivardio at 4. I have Trent at 1, or not 1, 3. At 2, I have Reese. And at 1, I have Rico Lewis. And I will die on that hill.
Fair enough. Uh, 10, I have the golden boy Ben White. Skin wise golden boy. 9, I have Rico Lewis. 8, Diego Dalot. 7, Kyle Walker. Please stop pulling down your pants. 6, Jedi Robinson. 5, Robo Cop. 4, Gavardiol. 3, Luke Shaw. Stop being fat and injured. 2, Reese James. Stop being fat and injured.
Hey.
And number 1, Trent. Hala Madrid.
Yeah, he's leaving on the free. 100%.
Oh, 100%.
His childhood club. See ya. Yeah, we sell ours to Madrid. That's what we do.
Alrighty, now we're gonna go into our top 10 6's and 8's in the Premier League. Obviously, this is just a whole ranking podcast, but let's jump into it, Mila, at number 10.
I do want to preface that I looked through every team and tried to make what I thought would be the best 6 or 8 midfielders in the league. At 10, I have Sangare from Nottingham. Defensive unit, he does play for Nottingham. That's the main thing. But I think he could play on other teams and be really effective. You guys, I need you to
Bro,
look
I'm
at his.
pulling up his appearances, bro, because I kept looking
You
for
look
him
at his
last year.
stats.
He wouldn't
He's a
play,
fucking
bro. He
unit.
wouldn't play.
He wins everything, literally everything.
Yeah, bro. He had like 20 appearances last year
Yeah,
in Nottingham Forest team. Bro. I should put him on my
exactly.
top 10 list.
Look,
That's fine.
he's a club
I have
legend.
no one. I have no one over him.
He's a career
No,
mode
or
legend.
not many over him.
Who's someone you left off your list that would be hot over that?
Dude, what?
We're about to find out, huh?
Sure.
And
yeah,
the guy
yeah,
that I've been shitting on the entire time, Enzo, like I'm not putting him anywhere near my 10s.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
like,
Not me
who
neither,
else?
boys.
I looked, I
Play every game.
scoured it, I checked everything, and I was like, am I okay to do this?
I
I
would
looked at
I
his
would prefer
stats, I
Enzo
looked at what
Fernandez.
I've seen. Yeah, you can prefer whatever the hell
Sure.
you want. That guy doesn't hold my 10.
Sure.
Um,
I
Ibrahim
respect you.
Sagare, 10.
Getting us going. Nice.
Keep an eye out for him. For the people that don't know, now you know.
All right. I'm going to preface this with the same thing that you said. Wow, it is difficult to pick 10
It's
guys from
dry
this
out there,
list.
bro.
I'm going to go with the gambling cheat at 10,
Which one?
Tonali, because when he
Oh,
plays,
That's fair. That's who
very
I was
good.
maybe
Very
gonna put it
good.
over him. I
me
think
too.
if we
Me
did
too.
this in like 6 months after he has some games, I'd probably swap those two.
Yeah.
If not,
He
I
have
was thinking
Tonali
about
higher.
him. I
he
was thinking
sold
about it.
Newcastle people a dream. He sold them a dream. They kicked the crap out of Villa, right?
Yeah, opening day last
Beginning
year.
of, yeah, and they looked really good, and then he just decided he wanted to gamble on games. That's tough. But he is technically a great footballer. I'd love to see what he looks like with a full year off. That's not easy for anybody to come back from. He's
Sharpness
very
wise, yeah.
talented though.
Yeah, I like that.
Luckily for him though, it's not an injury, so like with any of these like
Right.
bands, he should be fit relatively,
Mhm.
but
Right.
it's going to be match sharpness. If he can
Yeah.
get back to speed quicker than anticipated, he'll probably jump this list and be like top 5
Sure.
easily.
Yeah, I got Bruno G at 10. He's a good player. He honestly, bro, every time I watch like against us, he'll have good games, and then he'll just have like genuinely bad games. Like just loses his head, starts kicking shins, and just loses
Such a
control of the game. But
Bruno
I think,
G hater.
but I think that's what's good about him at the same time. And I think more often than not, his performances are better than the ones I'm explaining, where he's just kicking shins and running all over the place. I think he harnesses that more often than not into good performances. So I got him at 10.
Fair.
I have
Mila.
Caicedo at 9. I think he can like easily go up on my list throughout the season, but right now I need him to be a little more effective in his defensive duties.
Yeah, I think he's been playing. He started off this season like he's been drunk, but
And it's
yeah,
not even like we've
yeah,
seen his defensive capabilities. He has it. I've seen it before.
yeah,
I need to see it this season with this manager in this
yeah.
system for me to
Potch
have him any
tax.
higher.
Yeah. At 9, I have someone who hasn't played a game yet. I have Ugarte jumping
Oh,
in at 9.
oh,
I think that his
crazy.
fit is important, and I
Crazy.
think that he's going to cover a lot of United's holes, which will make United
Big.
a much better midfield. And I think next to Mainu, he's going to be like the perfect kind of yin and yang to be the guy that helps in the press, but also covers all that space that's left open. Um, I really struggled building out the 6 and 8s that I'd liked over him, and that's also just because I have certain vendettas against certain players that I don't like.
Right.
So I had to chuck in a United player to kind of fill the gaps.
I
Yeah,
don't know. You
he's
gotta
he's not on
gotta
my
be
list.
careful.
Yeah, he's not on
That
my
totally
list.
fair. Totally
Yeah,
fair.
I don't know. For me, I think he definitely improves upon Casemiro in terms of covering that ground. Casemiro's legs just aren't there anymore. But in terms of style of play, I don't think it changes too much. He's not someone you're really going to want to play through. So I still see similar issues offensively with the ball, but I think out of possession, he's a huge help. Um, so I'm excited to see that fit. I think it is a bit telling what happened at PSG, but again, you got to give him a fresh slate, see what he's got. I think he's played well for Uruguay. So yeah, we'll see with him. We'll see. He's not on my list though. I got Onana at 9. Um, I think last year, I think it's a huge year for him, and similar to what you said with Caicedo, I think he absolutely can jump up the list. I just think at Everton, he's not able to really show what he's fully capable of.
Dude.
In the Everton team, it's like get on those set pieces, which he's doing at Villa. But just get on those set pieces, be legs in the midfield. They don't really hold the ball too much, so I think he's gonna be able to do a lot more at Villa and really improve upon his game. But yeah, for now, I got him at 9. Mila.
Hey, I have Kovacic at 8. Just the way he's playing right now, I think
Sure.
he's been pretty vital for us. And that ball playing, the ball movement, is just really good right now. I don't know how Obviously, Rodri is going to play when he's back full speed. That's a tough conversation to have with Kovacic though, to be like you're not going to play today, or like you're going to have to take out someone like Bernardo, who I also have on this list. I think Kova's just the least effective of those City midfielders that we have at the moment.
I don't have him in my list because I think he's the most expendable, and I don't think that he necessarily starts on any other team. If that makes sense, like he just feels
Mm-hmm.
like a product of a Pep system. Not to say that he isn't playing amazing, because he
Yeah,
is,
he's playing very well. Yeah.
but I just don't think that he starts for like he doesn't start for Chelsea. I don't think he would start in a United team. The only team he actually might start in would be like Liverpool, which actually
Dude,
that'd be a
I
really
don't
good
have a
fit.
single Liverpool player in this 10 because
Oh,
they
I
don't
got.
deserve to be in there.
I have one.
Yeah, me too.
It's just
Crazy
for
to
the
me.
sake of like being being fair to them. But yeah,
Yeah. All right, what do we got?
eight or yeah, eight. Right, I
You're
got
Dylan's 8, yeah.
Onana. For the same
Yeah.
reasons that you said. The one thing that I've been super impressed with by him is his ability to push the ball forward. I thought, like I think we've talked in other episodes that I thought that or that he's been more of an eight or sorry, more of a six, but I really don't see him like that. I see him as like a really front-footed eight that just kind of presses and makes havoc for other teams, and it fits really well in an Emery system. And I've been really impressed with just the his ability going forward more than anything. He's done a lot. Obviously, he's doing the goal scoring, but also just the middle of games where Watkins isn't finishing chances. He's been really, really, really good going forward,
He
and he's
looks
giving
like
them that spark.
their threat. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
Mhm. I have McAllister at 8. I just think uh, his versatility adds so much. I mean, he was asked to play as a lone six for a lot of last year, which I don't think is what he signed up for. And I just think him, mind you, he's not, I wouldn't say world class at either 6, 8, or 10. He's very good at all three, though. And I think that says a lot and gives them a lot of different options. So, yeah, I'll definitely give him a shout at 8.
I just want to go over McAllister a bit. I do think he's talented. I kind of think he's more of a complementary
For sure.
midfielder. Like he's not going to be your main guy, whereas I do think any of these guys on this list can be probably one of your best, if not the best midfielder in your team, outside of
Solid.
Sangare, who is a little bit below the tier of everyone else. Um, but yeah, I don't have him in mind because I do think he's more a complementary piece. But at 7, I have Manu, and I couldn't put him higher. I think it would have been outrageous for me to put him higher, but I do think he's very talented, and in 2 to 3 years, he'll easily be top 5 of this list.
It's like the Rico talking points before, where the talent's there. You see it
Yeah,
where
we
it's
need to
heading.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah. 7. I got Gundo. I just think that he's legs wise, he's not gonna play as much, but he totally could. And that's the thing is like he's just one of the better midfielders in the world, and I want to say that he's on the back end of his career, so he's going to be just doing kind of these sub appearances to start the year, and he could very well by Champions League final be starting. So just for right now, he's just kind of sitting at 7 for me, just because I don't know how much we're going to see him in the front half of the year.
Hmm.
Yeah. My 7, I have Declan Rice. Um, he was bought in, 105 mil to play as the 6, and then Partey and Jorginho pushed him out to be an 8. That doesn't really add too much in the final third. Mind you, he did get his GA. I just think the way they're playing right now, at least as well, and obviously this helps that he just got sent off. But not even really on that. I think when you're horseshoeing Partey into the midfield, and mind you, regardless of his off the field business, he's not going to play 38 games in the league. So then maybe Jorginho, but you have that, and then a Timber slotting in that pivot and just forcing Rice up in the field. It just doesn't really work, and now he's just kind of there. Um, Defensively, defending transitions, great player. Obviously, we know that. I just think on the ball, he's not really adding much in this system right now, especially when he's playing that left-sided 8 role. I just don't think that really suits him. So yeah, I got him a 7.
At 6, I have Nana. Basically, for the same thing that we keep saying about him, but I think he is a presence in the midfield. And that's one of the main things he has over these other guys is that you notice when he's in the midfield. Because he will give you a big tackle. He'll be in the box for a header. Like his presence just felt on the field. It's not it's noticeable when he's not on the field.
Yeah, he's a unit. He is a large athletic specimen. Like he just
Mm-hmm.
is not your normal footballer.
Dude, every time they have a set piece, it looks like he's gonna win it. It doesn't even need
Mm-hmm.
to be near him. It could go
So
freaking
true.
15 yards away from him. It still looks like he's gonna win the
So
header.
true. All right, well, I'll go with the exact opposite of that then. At 6, I have McAllister. Talking about glue guys. McAllister kind of fits that mold for me. I think that he does the stuff that all of the other attacking pieces within their system don't want to do, and he gets a lot of the brownie points. And I'll relate it back to basketball because it's the best way I know how. But he's like the Alex Caruso of their system, where he just does everything that your Trents and your Salahs and your Darwin Nunez's don't want to do, and he always comes up with these timely goals, which suck because I fucking hate them. But he just tends to be there. And if you're good enough to be in a team with Messi in Argentina, like he just I really struggled with this list. He's 6.
Yeah, yeah. Those other good midfielders in that Argentina team. Tough to get into for sure. So it means a lot that they're in that team and consistently playing for Argentina. Anyways, I have Mainu at 6. I think Dylan will get to speak on him a little more. I'm sure he's up on your list, but yeah, he's very young, has room to grow. I think physically, defensively, but he's a talent. He's a top talent. So yeah, I got him at 6. Mila, ready for the top 5?
Yes, sir.
I do
I
want to
have
preface this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't have Bernardo on my list. I just wanted to say that because
Same.
he plays up. He attacks a lot for me. I think he's one of those half space tens or as a winger. I did not put Bernardo in this list, but he is
He is
obviously. Is he
omitted
your
from
5?
at
me and Grant's
5, I
list.
have Bernardo Silva.
Well,
Um,
where's yours?
dude, I mean, if you think about it, some of the roles that Pep has him play, he's playing just this chicken without a head in the midfield. Except for I
Sure.
can't say chicken without a head because that he clearly has a head on his shoulders. Like everything is super calculated and meticulous when he does it. What's really excited me this season is it looks like he's no longer tired of being at City and he kind of just wants to go play and be the best that he can be. He looks a little angrier this season. He was always a little, he had an attitude before, but he looks a little spicier this year. And that little flair to his attitude in a non-detrimental way to the squad, I think is going to be really beneficial for us.
Yeah, if I included him, I would have had to include other attacking players, and that's the only reason he's not
Yeah.
on my list. But he'd be in my top 5 too. Incredible,
Yeah.
incredible talent, especially at his size too. Similar to like the Rico Lewis points we were making before. Like he shouldn't be able to play the 8 at his size
So
in the Premier League. In the Premier League,
speaking of weird positional categorizations, did you guys throw Odegaard in your lists?
no.
No.
Okay, cool. I thought I had a big mistake there. Glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, no, no.
Sweet.
5, I have Caicedo, the only undroppable Chelsea midfielder for me. I've seen him do it at the top level, and I think that he covers up a lot of holes. It's very similar to United, where they have so much attacking talent, and so he's covering up these massive holes in the midfield. And I don't know how he doesn't just pop a lung out. Like he does do the he's got that South American tax where he's just like running around like an idiot sometimes, and he's trying to like kill someone. But
Yeah,
he's technically
he'll
very, very
clatter
good.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, and his ball playing could be better, but I think that comes with age
Mm.
and time. And so I think
Mm.
talent wise, he just breaks that 6 mold for me, where he's like a top 3 or 4 6 in the league, and being a top 3 or 4 6 in the league kind of gets you up in this list for me.
For sure. I think Caicedo, other than that, I mean, he's playing in midfield by himself last year in that horrific system. Um, but I think his build-up play, he's a monster there. Just has his lack of concentration almost is what it looks like, where he just makes these mistakes. Right, you're better than that. You've had the ball, you received the ball in way tighter spaces and gotten rid of it. Like, what are we doing? But we'll get into him later. My number 5 is Enzo Fernandez. Um, I just think when I watch this player, like he's going to be at Madrid in 3 years. Like he needs to go into a league like that where his talents can really flourish. Like I would love for him to be at Chelsea for the rest of his 15-year contract. I just watch him on the ball, and he's amazing on the ball. I prefer him. I think we've had this conversation enough times. I like him in those deep line playmaker positions, similar to how Cruz kind of ended his career at Real Madrid. The big issue is the defensive coverage. I think Caicedo being very aggressive defensively when he gets bypassed and it's just Enzo, that's a problem. That's not where you want Enzo Fernandez. So that's a big issue. You just can't get caught in transition like that time and time again. So it's either their synergy together as a pivot. We haven't seen Enzo and Lavia play together yet, but that's a big question mark, I'd say. But I think the talent, just the pure talent in the player, it's unquestioned for me. His ability on the ball to pick a pass is otherworldly for me. So yeah, I got him at 5.
I don't need to say anything about
Yeah,
Enzo.
we've talked about it a
We've
million times. So.
gone into detail. At 4, I have Gundogan. I think I don't know. It's hard to say. He was one of Barcelona's best players, if not their best
Yeah.
player last season.
Yep.
At 34, 35, he played a good amount of minutes last year. Like it looks like he still has the legs. He's probably going to be our captain or one of them. He will be in the leadership room. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's fallen off at all from when he left. So adding the Gundo that we had 2 seasons ago back to this team, I think he's easily top 5. And that's why I put him at 4.
Yeah, I would have had him higher if I could see him in this. So this new Pep is really confusing me.
It's
I don't
gonna be
really
hard
know.
to get minutes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I see where you're coming from. I just think skill wise,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Skill wise, he's up there, and he proved it at the international level too. So maybe I'm just being a little harsh. 4, I have Declan Rice. I think he's the second best 6 in the league, even though they don't use him there
He's an 8.
currently.
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake. I think that's just a product of Arteta and him not having an 8 that can do both. It's a tough situation for Arsenal because, and I talked about this in our talk with Shadman. Like they're playing too defensive for me, and they continue to play too defensive. Where there's no reason Declan Rice should be your 8, and there's no reason that Partey and him should be on the field at the same time unless you're playing a City.
Partey shouldn't be on a field, but yeah.
Also,
They don't
true.
have the pieces to play more attacking.
Well, maybe
But that's by
Marino,
choice,
but
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know I think they put not all their eggs in one basket necessarily, but I think they are relying on their better attacking players to carry the load. Like we said, Saka's doing a lot.
Saka and Odegaard are doing everything.
Odegaard, I've heard, is not playing that well. I watched half the game last week, and then I heard this last game that they played. I heard he didn't do great.
Yeah,
So
go for it.
yeah,
No. Odegaard has a tendency to ghost.
I mean, they also,
Which is-
I feel
I don't
like,
know.
did they not sign Havertz originally to be that left-sided
To be
8?
the 8.
Wasn't that the first plan? But that just didn't work. He's not an 8. So I feel like that was the original idea. But yeah, now they're just compromising. Now it's Marino is the idea. But yeah, I'm not sure.
But I don't know. I don't understand it from a team that's trying to contend when right across like the benchmark is City and they have a Holland. They don't have a striker. They're playing essentially 6 midfielders at all times. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And I think Rice, unfortunately for his standard, he doesn't see the same amount of minutes that he should at the 6, and then he also doesn't get the same star power that he could have at the 6, because he could be a Rodri type player. Not to say that he's going to be anywhere near as good as Rodri, but Rodri type player. So that's why he's 4 for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I have Lavia at 4. I think obviously he missed all of last season. We saw a year of him at 20th place Southampton. He was one of the better midfielders in the league, better sixes in the league at 20th place Southampton. And again, preseason, I know it was preseason. He looked so much better than everyone else for Chelsea during most of the preseason, and even against City as well. Looked like our best midfielder before coming off early. He's been missing a few games, precautionary reasons. Um, but yeah, I just think at his age as well, the ability he's showing, the composure on the ball, the defensive chops. I'm very excited to see him consistently play in our midfield. I think he's going to be another monster. Um, Shout out City Academy. Appreciate it.
At 3, I have Rice. I'm not gonna go into it. Everything
Yeah.
you guys just said. I have 2 other guys over him.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's fair. 3, I have Bruno G. In
Got it.
terms of overall impact, we're talking about the guy that was the catalyst for Newcastle being a top 10 team every
You
year.
can, I think you could take everything Grant said about Bruno G and just slap it on Bruno G. But Grant doesn't like him, so he dropped him significantly
Exactly right.
in his list.
That is exactly right.
I say this in every podcast at least once. Pep wanted him, so he's in my. He goes
The
higher
Pep
for
stamp
me.
of approval. We'll have to make an actual stamp.
Yeah.
We should. We should.
My number 3 is the third Chelsea midfielder. Caicedo's at number 3. I think at his age again, and I think his ball playing ability is severely underrated just because of the way he plays, just how much ground he covers, how he gets very stuck in. He will get a lot of reckless yellows. Caicedo will get yellows in like the 20th minute and then just 70 straight minutes. Monster class. He was far and away our best midfielder last year in a team that was just atrociously set up. He held it together. Like you said, his motor, unbelievable. I think he's bound for a huge year. I think the fact that he was in like flop of the year conversations is genuinely like a disgrace. Like, how could you watch the games be played and think he was bad? He conceded a penalty in his first game, and ever since he was a flop. But I thought that was absurd. Yeah, I got him at number 3. But you guys already gave me some good Caicedo stuff, so I'll let it be there.
At 2, I have Gumarish. I think he's super talented. I really wanted him to pair next to Rodri. I think we would have had the best midfield pairing in the world if we had that. I think they really complement each other, but Gumarish is like feistier with a little more attacking threat, whereas uh, I'll go more to Rodri next because yeah.
All right, hold on. I feel like we all have him hit 1, right?
Yeah, Roger. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just getting out of the way early. 2, for the same reasons that you had Rico at 1 in the last segment. I think Mainu is my number 2, and I'll go into the idea of he walks into every team's number 8 on, I think, on the planet. I don't think it's. I don't think there's a single team where right now you could tell me he doesn't walk in as their number 8.
Real Madrid.
I think he walks in as their 8.
Over Valverde?
Yeah. I think he's I think he's a better technical player than Valverde.
I can't say anything. I just put Rico Lewis at number 1.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I rate Mainu a lot. I rate him a lot. But yeah, I don't think he walks into every team.
He's the floor of United in terms of like the ceiling is whatever, but as bad as United's midfield is going to be, it's going to be based off of him. And how bad would United have been last year if he doesn't make a leap into the team?
Yeah. No, my big fear with him, and feel free to answer this here, I think Ugarte coming in helps. And I think a lot of it also comes down to United in transitions. Like you see the screenshots of just how much space. There's like 30 yards to cover. But even just in general, I don't feel like Mainu moves that quick. Like I feel like he doesn't cover that much ground, so it doesn't help his case either. But do you think that's an issue? Do you think that's something that comes with time? What are your thoughts on that?
He's definitely younger, but he also, as I think before this weekend, he had the second most. I think it was either ball recoveries or tackles made in the Prem. So I just think that's like one of those things where people look at him being a technically gifted player and forget how good he is defensively.
Sure.
And United's press this season has been really good, but it's just the fact that they lost this game that like it changed the perspective on how the season's going to go.
Sure.
But Mainu has been and is the reason United can get back on track. I think he's, in terms of the young players in the world, he's up there for being just the best talent. And I think that he's the reason he's United through and through for me, and for the same reasons that Mila had Rico at one in the last list. Like there's so much there, and I watch him on a 90-minute per basis. Like that's the thing, is we're all watching essentially snapshots of other teams. He's the most important player for United every single game for me. Like he's just a constant walking. If you had to put a rating on him, he's a constant 7.5 with the ability to be higher. I haven't seen a game where he's been bad.
Yeah. No, I really like him.
I
really like him.
Anything bad
I'm a
about
big
him.
fan. Yeah. Number 2, I have Gundogan. I just think the best way I can articulate it. Yeah, the best way I can articulate it, he's just on a different wavelength than other players. Like he just knows what's going to happen before it's going to happen, pretty much every time. Because I know towards the end of his last year, the end of his first stint at City, he was playing that advanced role, looked really good. In Germany, he played as Germany's 10, also looked very good because, I think you were alluding to, Dylan, he is getting older. He does not have the same legs, regardless of if they're gone or not the same legs that he had 5 years ago. So him just being in those advanced pockets and just being able to link with other players in that attack, I think is so invaluable. I think they tried to replace him last year with Kova and Nunes, but they just replaced him with himself. They just got him back. I think they
replacement for Gundo
exactly. So yeah, I just rate him very highly. I think he's just invaluable. Yeah, not much else to say. And then we all have Rodri at number 1.
Let's do it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Rodri.
You guys would think say someone else, wouldn't
you?
You speak on him. You're the City fan.
He's my Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't think anyone from last season really has the right to take it from him. I think Vinny's the closest thing, probably. You guys know how I feel about Jude. Super good in La Liga last season. Champions League, I think I saw him ghost 4 or 5 games in a row. Didn't do really anything. Okay, cool. But
didn't have a great
Ballon d'Or winner? No, thank you.
No.
Rodri's a consistent, like Dylan was just saying that Mainu gets like a 7.2 to 4 or whatever, like a pretty good rating. Rodri's getting like 7.9 to like 8.5 most games. And when we need him to, he's gonna come up with a clutch goal.
Yep.
If we need him to pull something out of the hat, he's gonna pull it out the hat. So I think, based off his last year or two, where he's just been dominant, no one can really step up to him. He has to be number 1, and he should probably win the Ballon d'Or for me.
I agree with everything you said. Dylan,
if there was an MVP, Ballon d'Or is a different thing. If there was a most valuable player,
yes,
in world football, it would be Rodri. City don't do MVP. They don't do what they currently are doing and winning the trophies that they're doing without Rodri. He is the most important player. Yeah, it's a little different, but he's just he's been the most important player in those teams. He makes the system work. Without Rodri, there would be. I mean, I'm assuming years past it. We can't talk on him this year. He hasn't played yet, but how good City look right now, like they add in him. Is anyone up in 5?
Yeah, he's and that what he had like double-digit GA last year too in the league. Like that's absurd. Yeah, it's just not. It's not right. Yeah,
he should just beat Manu in the Prem.
Yeah. That was fun, but yeah. Which one?
Okay,
what list do we got next?
What are you talking about?
No. Let's do it in order of the way we did it here.
Oh,
Mila, you want to
right.
give us your 10?
Yes. Let me give my 10 real quick. I have Ibrahim Sangare at 10. I have Caicedo at 9. Kovacic at 8. I have 7 Menu. 6 Amadou Onana. Not Andre. Bernardo at 5. Gundo at 4. Rice at 3. Bruno G at 2. And Rodri at number 1.
All right. My number 10 is Gambling Cheat Tonali. My number 9 is Please Be Good Ugarte. My 8 is not Andre Onana. 7 is Gunda Wundawan. 6 is McAllister. You're definitely English. 5 is Caicedo. I don't have anything funny to say about Caicedo.
That's
4,
right.
Rice Baby. 3, Bruno G. 2, The Wonder Kid, Menu, and number 1, Rodri.
Yeah. Number 10, Bruno Guimaraes. Number 9, I put Onana. Number 8 is Mac Allister. Basmati at 7. Kavi at 6. Enzo at 5. Lavia at 4. Caicedo at 3. Gundo at 2. Rodri 1.
That might
I
be
can't.
the
Yeah.
longest 2 ranked lists
Yeah, we were supposed to
of
do.
all
We were supposed to do
time.
like 20 minutes
Oh,
each.
I'm extremely late, so I have to go
Yes. All
like
right. Well,
immediately.
thank you,
Sick.
thank you guys for listening in. I hope this fills in the void. But this has been Clash of Clubs, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.